have a meeting, we told me that way. About the feelings and all of that, we have a conversation. Because the other part is violation, the one that where we have to carry on, is on both of the street.
No.
Right on the corner. What's the name of it?
Yeah, but it's stuck in this He shows up. We won't run it. He will be here. I think a lot of us when they saw that we weren't going to go on the inside and we weren't going to, then I think they're going to come together now.
So weighing the issues around.
I'm tired. It's been a full day. I'm tired, man. You know what that is? You were coming. Yeah. I've been here yelling about the show. 21st service. Yeah, 6 months and a half. Y'all sit together, Joe. Pray. Pastor here? Yes. That's the purple shirt. Yes. Pray. Gavin, put your name up. Gavin, you are name up.
Yeah, I changed it. My grandmother unfortunately passed away, so we altered travel plans and my funeral this morning. So
I know they are. That's
Good evening, everybody. I don't even know what day it is right now. So June 27th, the Common Council meeting is now in session. We'll start with our invocation by Pastor Dave Sutter of Kern Road Mennonite Church. Thank you, sir, for coming. Please stand, everybody.
Will you join me in prayer? God of all creation, we give you thanks this evening for the earth that you have given to us. We give you thanks for the ways in which you have brought many diverse peoples together to be a part of our community. We give thanks for the fantastic weather we have had today and the ways in which you have showered us with the blessings of rain to nurture the earth and the soils, to create green grass and strong trees. In particular, at this time, we are reminded of the council session this evening, and we pause for this moment to acknowledge your presence in our midst. We pause to acknowledge all of our need for a power, a spirit beyond ourselves, beyond our own insights, our own human limitations, our limited perspectives. We pray for wisdom and guidance for all those who will speak tonight, whether they be concerned citizens or persons presenting various issues. For the conversations which will take place here tonight, and especially we pray for those in our midst who sit at this table who have been called to lead and to make decisions on our behalf as a community tonight. We give thanks for their willingness to be servants to us, the people of this community. May their deliberations and their decisions benefit the larger good of our particular community, and where it may impact in some way even our state, our nation, or our world. May the deliberations and decisions made tonight in this room take into account your purpose, your laws, your will for all people, for all humanity. And tonight, even as we are celebrating good weather today, we are aware that there are many people in our nation and around the world who are suffering in poverty or from extreme weather conditions and situations, or sadly from significant violence. And so we pray for peace in our world. We pray for peace in our community and peace in our homes, and ask your blessings upon each one of us tonight as we go to our various homes and places of rest, that we might find relationships of peace. We pray these things mindful of your will. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Ms. Fowler, roll call, please.
President Scott.
Present.
Councilmember Preston. Here. Randy Kelly.
He is excused absent.
Councilmember Broden. Here. Dr. Varner.
Present.
Vice President Davis.
I'm present.
Mr. Gordy.
Present.
Mr. Furley.
Here.
Councilmember White. Present. 8 present.
Thank you. Just one announcement, if you're here for 1657 on clean air, or clean energy, that is continued to July 25th. So anybody on clean energy, July 25th is when that will be heard. Report from Subcommittee on Minutes, please.
Report of Subcommittee on Minutes. To the Common Council of the City of South Bend, the subcommittee has inspected the minutes of the June 13, 2016 meeting of the Common Council and found them to be correct. Therefore, we recommend the same be approved.
Motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Now we'll turn to a report from city offices. I think Eric Horvath is going to speak on storm recovery efforts. Update from Public Works. And the mayor is represented by James Mueller.
Thanks, Council. Eric Horvath, Public Works Director, 13th floor of this building. Also going to ask Santi Garces to come up and show you guys. He's our Chief Innovation Officer. Some help he's done with this in terms of being able to better track what we have for storm damage and our calls that are coming into 311 and how we're completing those out. I'll just give you a brief update on where we are and let you know how the program's going and when we're trying to close this out. We had a significant storm, as you all know, last Monday, and have been working pretty long hours getting that cleaned up. I would like to just thank the Parks Department, the Street Department, as well as the NEAT crew and code for really coming together and doing a fantastic job getting out there and cleaning up debris in the city. This is something that is a little unusual circumstances to have people in and more than most people can handle. So I appreciate them all coming together to help clean the city up and have it looking much better than it ever has, or than it had before the storm. One of our staff members actually said that it was the best show of teamwork that he's seen in 39 years between departments. So I was really proud to hear that, and that's all thanks to the guys on the street doing the work. They've logged over 3,000 hours to date on storm cleanup. We've taken about 429 loads we've picked up of storm debris, and we're getting to the point where we've swept all of the areas, and there's still calls out there that we need to address, final calls. We're encouraging anyone who still has storm debris to call 311, because it immediately gets put into the system. Then our guys will know where it is. If it's in their area, they'll know they need to go get it cleaned up, and then they'll close those out once it's cleaned up. We are taking calls until this Wednesday, and at that point we're going to close it out, and we expect that we will be done with storm cleanup by the end of this week. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but I am going to ask Santi to show you the app he developed, so it helps 301, our crews, communicate and make sure these are getting tracked and closed out. Santi,
Santiago Garces, Chief Innovation Officer, offices in the 12th floor of this building. Can you open Chrome, please? So there's 3 quick things that I wanted to share with you. The first one, can you go to the second? So the first, actually, can we go to the next step? Yeah. So the first map is an internal map, just because it contains information from callers, so we don't publish all of the information that identifies the callers, but we were able to connect live data from our 311 system, so The crews that are out there in the field are able to see when people call and what is the call about, especially related to storm damage, and that gets mapped and overlaid. We've mapped when the crews go and identify and verify that the damage is there, and we're able to track as the calls get addressed. So this information is also made available to the public with the privacy concerns addressed. If you go to the first map, please. This is a public map that any resident can access, and that shows you what of the storm damage has been identified by the crews and what progress it's been done. There's probably a little bit of lag in how the information has been coded just because the crews have been really busy carrying out the work, so I think that some of the points haven't been cleared as done, although the work has been done already. You can access this map if you go to the Open Data Portal, data.southbendin.gov, and can you click the third tab, please?
Can you email that to us?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And in the data portal, if you click on 311, you will also be able to see all of the open 311 calls.
Okay.
And you will be able to see, and if you scroll down, you'll also see mapped and anonymized the 311 calls related to storm damage based on the different call types. So we're classifying small brush, tree limbs hanging, trees blocking alleys and streets, and I think flooded streets as well. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll mail you these links, and that way you can track the progress as we clear out the calls, and residents can also see when they call. We're taking effect and taking note of their calls, so we appreciate them communicating with us.
Okay, thank you. Eric, anything else?
Nothing unless there are any questions.
Dave Harder?
Do we still have an alley rehabilitation program?
I'm sorry, the
Do we
alley
still have an alley rehabilitation program
where
the alleys have become rutted and pitted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just let us know, we go through and regrade alleys on a regular basis.
I wasn't sure if that
Lasts
was
very long, especially trash trucks going through. Albert, to get your request, I'll get that logged and we'll get that one.
Yeah, thank you for logging that in.
Sure.
Because it's really kind of hazardous for this thing. But as you can see, as your map indicated, the majority of those situations, the bulk right in this concentrated area was right in Rim Village, right?
Yeah.
So I want to thank you.
Sure.
Because there was so many trees down in our area. It was, I don't even know, it's like the storm just stayed on us. And but I want to thank you for getting all of that up and so your hard work. I like that map in there because it helps us to be able to pinpoint that and show exactly what was happening. You could feel it, but when you watch that map, it really pointed to what was going on. So how long has that been in place?
Just did it for this storm, so.
Oh, I thought I've never seen it.
Quickly reacted and put it in place, and we started using it immediately, so.
Yeah, it's been the product of a lot of work, and our applications team that manages GIS has done a great job, and we've only been able to do this for about 2 weeks, so when we saw that the opportunity presented itself and our city was in need, we were able to create an application.
Will we be able to do that with snowstorms and other situations that show up? What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That we will be able to start accommodating other types of events and helping 311 become more transparent and so that the residents can see what's happening with the information that they provide with us and know that we care and that we are acting on those requests.
I appreciate that. That's good. And then we can put that to our site so people can literally monitor that, and that would just be wonderful.
Any other questions from council?
Just thank you.
Nope. Okay.
That was it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Report.
gentlemen. With that, I'll entertain a motion to rise the committee of the whole.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
When you got passing an agenda, I left mine at home. Thanks.
The Committee of the Whole is now in session. This is the portion of the meeting where the full council sits as a committee. During each bill, there will be an opportunity for the public to comment. either in favor or in opposition. You'll have 5 minutes to speak again on any bill, either in favor or in opposition, if you so wish. Would the city clerk please read Bill 2016?
2016, public hearing on an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 2724 Lincoln Way West, Councilmanic District Number 2 in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
A motion to accept the substitute bill 2016 as on file with the city clerk.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Is there a committee report?
Yes, the zoning and annexation brings this bill to you tonight with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. Is there a presenter?
Good evening, Angela Smith from the Area Plan Commission with offices on the 11th floor of this building.
IEP.
I'll go ahead and speak. The petitioner is seeking to rezone a property along Lincoln Way, just a little bit east of Eclipse Boulevard. The subject property is there highlighted on the map. To the... Oh, there. That's what the problem is. To the north across Lincoln Way is a vacant lot zone CB Community Business. To the east is a funeral home zone LB Local Business. To the south are single-family home zone SF2, single-family and two-family. To the west is a single home zone single-family and two-family. This is an image, an aerial image of the property. The house in question is to the top of this picture. And in this case, it's the one in between the funeral home on the far left and the single-family home on the right, behind the trees that you can see in the image. This is a picture looking down the entryway to the rear of the property, which would be used for the proposed parking lot, and I believe the accessory structure would be used for some additional storage for the property as well. The site plan as presented by the petitioner shows the existing building, the existing home remaining on the property and being converted for the office and print shop. They're rezoning to mixed use to allow for a publishing company and the associated print shop with that. The existing garage is also shown on the property as well. The parking lot configuration may change depending on the final build out of the house and how that is ultimately presented. This comes to you from the Area Plan Commission with no recommendation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And actually, we'll hear from the petitioner, and then we'll open up to questions from council. Is there a petitioner?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Janice Kimbrough, and I own the property located at 2724 Lincoln Way West in the city of South Bend, Indiana. And I stand before the Honorable Council for the city of South Bend, hoping that the property could be rezoned. It's currently zoned single family in District 2, and I'm hoping that it could be rezoned to local business district. The rezoning will allow me to conduct business activities for my Blessed Gospel magazine, and the property is contiguous to Palmer Funeral Home, which is already zoned local business. And I do have some photos that I brought. I don't know if you, okay, if we could go, if you could back that. I was going to just kind of show you on the photo. I needed to kind of back out, but it was showing the property that I own. It would be picture number 2. Okay, if you can see right there in that, that's my front yard, and Palmer's Funeral Home is right next to me. Across the street there was the DC Tire. Next to the DC Tire is Popeye's Chicken. If you could go to photo number 7, it's showing former Key Bank building there's a home structure there, which they're here this evening to say they're in favor, and then I'm next door, and then there's Palmer's Funeral Home. So it's my hope that the Honorable Council will allow this property to be rezoned.
Are there
any questions?
Yeah, are there any questions for petitioner or presenter?
So this is really not any kind of ISO. Can you go back to that picture, please? No, the other. Yes. So it's the key bank there, and then the other side of you is the funeral home across the street. So this is not really any isolated kind of zoning kind of situation, or some people call it spot zoning, anything else like that. Because they're all in that section, there are businesses all over the place.
There's business all over the place. And then also, if you could go to photo number 76. 76. Yeah, that's showing the backyard and the trees that are already currently on the site as well.
And on the other side of that fence is the funeral home.
On the other side of this fence, yes, is Palmer.
And that's their parking lot, and that's where they go.
Right.
And so.
On the opposite side.
That is correct. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for petitioner or presenter?
And that's clear all the way to the back street, the property?
Yes, it goes all the way back, and there's a fence that wraps all around the site.
And where are you currently operating your business?
Currently, I'm operating my business at 1701 Linden Avenue, which is cat-a-corner from Martin Luther King Center and New Jerusalem Church.
And is this a change in scope with your business?
Actually, it would put me in a better position. I'd be in a much better location. I already have the property. And I'd be allowed to put signage in the yard to help promote the services that I provide as well. So it would be a benefit for me. And then also I plan on making several improvements to the site, so it would help the neighborhood as well. And I'm hoping to work with the matching grant fund for some of those improvements.
Yes,
when you talk about improving the property, besides the signage that you're looking to put out front, is there any major changes going to the front of because it currently looks like a house?
Yes, and actually we plan to keep the historic look that it has. We're in need of a roof, windows, doors, that type of improvements to the location.
And as I understand it, any parking that you do, if you're looking to do that, it's going to be in the back, correct?
Yes, correct, because that's actually, that photo there is actually showing front of the building, not the back. As she indicated, this is straight off of Lincoln Way, and you would drive up to there to see the backyard back there.
And that's the portion, sorry. That's okay. That's the portion that we had talked about, that was adjacent right across from the other parking lot from the funeral home, that your parking lot could face that parking lot, and
exactly
then.
Where my car is, it would go straight across there, and it would be ample room for parking. We wouldn't have to pick out any trees.
Cool.
So any concerns about, I know there was concern about, well, this is a residential neighborhood. For the most part, besides the sign, in my mind, it sounds like it's still going to look like a house.
Yes,
from the
exactly. I have no, I'm not changing the structure of it, so it actually will I won't be living there at all, but we won't change the structure. We'll just try to improve the structure.
Ms. Kimbrough, your current location, would you consider that more of a residential area, or?
Yes, exactly. I would consider that more a residential area.
And what would happen with the building that you're in now?
Excuse me?
What would you do with the building that you're in now?
Oh, I haven't decided what we would do with that one.
Okay. Thank you.
And I just had a couple questions. You said the neighbor directly to the west of your property, so on the other side of Palmer Funeral Home,
Yes,
sorry, not on the other side, but on the opposite side, they're here and they're in support?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. And then I just had a question for Angela as well. So I apologize for missing the committee meeting. I did receive just a phone call for someone just expressing concerns again about the residential neighborhood, and I don't think they were concerned at all about this use for the property, but the rezone would potentially allow for different uses in the future if a subsequent purchaser came in. This doesn't limit the use to a print shop or anything like that. It would be rezoned and could be used for any business purposes under that zoning, correct?
Correct. If approved to the LB local business, it could be used for any use in the LB local business district, not
Okay.
just the print shop.
But if it was a use that potentially had more parking, something like that, it would need to meet certain screening requirements, and so I guess if it was rezoned, it would still need to meet, if somebody wanted to use it for a purpose in LB, it would still need to meet certain screening requirements from residential and things like, if they made alterations to the building, is that correct? Or put up a new building?
Once rezoned, the entire property must be brought up to all of the development standards in the zoning ordinance unless they receive variances.
Okay.
If at any point she received any variances, or any property owner does, the variances stay with the property.
Okay.
If the use changes, often the parking calculation will change, so sometimes that'll change how the parking lot's built out, which is why I said the configuration of the parking lot will depend on the ultimate use of the building. So right now, the parking calculation is determined by the amount of square footage dedicated to the offices.
Okay.
If not the whole building's used for offices, some of it's for storage, the number of parking spaces may go down. If it switches to, a different kind of office, doctor's offices are calculated differently than other offices, so that would all depend on the actual use of the property.
Okay, but if the use ever changed substantially, they would likely have to go through some sort of variance process, or...
They would have to meet the development standard or seek a variance, yes.
Okay, more than likely. Okay, great.
So in that, following up on that, though they had to do that, then that would probably come back before the area plan again, and we would have to do this kind of thing.
No, it would go in front of the area board of zoning appeals. Any
BZA
variances
then, BZA. We'd go before the BZA at that time to make those kind of changes.
correct, and that's a public hearing process as well.
Okay, and then those recommendations come back before the council?
I'm sorry?
They don't have to come back before the council, or they?
No, variances stop with the area board of zoning appeals.
But the special exceptions, like you said.
If it was
right?
a special exception, it would need to come back to the council.
Okay, so there would be some authority that would be over some major changes, whether it be us or whether it be BZA.
Yes, there's another public process in the board that...
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Could you enumerate those more intensive uses that are?
Let me grab my... As you move into the LB local business district, they tend to be more commercial type uses. Some of them might include things such as a retail shop. It could be a smoke shop. There's several other retail type uses. Would be a more intense office. It would not be able to be used for a car dealership at this point without a special exception because the LB local business does not allow that. So it's kind of designed to be more small scale, less intense retail, and then offices and such uses.
Question.
Yes.
But let's go back to the recommendation for this at the area plan. Ms. Kimber was looking for mixed use at the first place.
Originally, she was looking for mixed use, which would allow for, originally when she spoke with our office, we were looking at a way to allow for the office uses associated with running her publishing company, which could include selling magazine subscriptions, which kicked in a retail component, which is why it would be mixed use and not OB office buffer. However, during the public hearing process, there were a couple people who referred to it as a print shop and talked about being able to go there as opposed to Kinko's. Print shop is a specific use listed in our zoning ordinance, and the first place that shows up is LB local business. So at that point, we had to table it and re-advertise it to LB local business.
So at that point, that's when you all recommended to her that she should go under this type of zoning, because, at least seek this type of zoning because of that particular issue. Is that not correct?
Correct. We always try to pair the petitioner with the first district in which the use appears. So we try to always gear people towards the least intense use for a property so that the more potential hazards of that district don't come in. In this case, because print shop is specifically listed in our ordinance in the LB district, for the first time we had to make that adjustment. So once we had that understanding, the public hearing, we made an adjustment to the petition.
And just the nature of where that all is, from between the funeral home and between the other house on the other side, the chances of a retail shop and all those other kind of things that you looked at.
They would still have to meet the development standards for the
Yes,
district.
and while they are there, when you really look at that, it's more of that's a stretch. Even though it's there, I understand where it is legally, but you know what I'm saying in terms of being able to market the person there, I sincerely doubt that. But I understand your point.
Comprehensive plan date that was approved as a city, and then just following up the west side main streets. Just educationally, give us an idea of that process and the public input on both of those plans, please.
In 2006, the city went through a very extensive city plan effort to redo the comprehensive plan for the entire city of South Bend. That went through the Area Plan Commission, who then made a recommendation to the council, and was ultimately adopted by the city council. In 2012, there was an amendment to the city plan for the West Side Main Streets plan that looked at a corridor plan for both Lincoln Way West and Western Avenue, as well as some fringe properties in the area. That also went through the Area Plan Commission and the City Council as an amendment to the comprehensive plan.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Seeing none, we'll open it up to the public portion. You will have an opportunity after the public portion, Ms. Kimbrough, to respond if you'd like, or if you have, actually right now, if you have any additional answers to questions, but...
Yes, I just would like to also mention that when I contacted the Area Plan Commission, they've been fighting me every step of the way. I actually received a letter from them April 15th saying that they weren't in favor of it, that my print shop does not match their master plan. Okay, then I received a letter on April 18th saying that because I don't appear to use any residential use, I was being denied. So they haven't really been trying to work with me through none of this process. It's been a continuance of trying to determine what's going to happen after I'm gone. But I've been around since 1987, so I have a lot of respect for that, but I plan on making it work. So
the tone that you have received from them through the area plan, and the writing of the letters that you received from them, plus the inaccuracy of the letter that was sent to you this past week, and the documents that we have received that was inaccurate also.
Right. They keep talking about what's going to happen maybe in the future. But I mean, if that's the case, we'll need to go down every business that's on Lincoln Way and say, well, 5 years from now, you might be something else. And I don't think that's fair. I think that my printing business is in tune with the businesses that are there, and we're hoping to improve it. And I shouldn't have to go through all of this red tape trying to get a local business on. So they actually seem like they've been against it ever since I stepped in the door.
Okay.
Can I ask a question then about her comment? Or I know you closed the portion, but...
So right now, we're going to, no more questions. What we'll do, but if it's okay, since she spoke, Angela, you want to just make a quick comment, and then we'll open up the public portion, and then there can be a rebuttal as well.
Sure. The only thing that would have come from the Area Plan Commission would have been to forward the recommendations of other agencies. The Area Plan Commission staff's not allowed to make a recommendation other than to the Area Plan Commission. So we can let the petitioner know if we are in favor or opposed to a petition, but that's based on the comprehensive plan. It's ultimately the Area Plan Commission who makes the recommendation to the council. I believe the references that Ms. Kimbrough is referring to are recommendations forwarded from the Department of Community Investment.
Okay. But the letter that came for us was not. That came from you all.
We give a certification letter after the petition is heard by the Area Plan Commission that lets you know the motion of the 15-member Area Plan Commission. So the letter you would have received from the Plan Commission the day after our public hearing would have simply been to certify the motion there. I understand there was an error in the zoning district, which came out of our database. That's been corrected. You'll receive a new letter in the morning.
Thank you.
But the recommendation was the same.
I understand the recommendation, saying it was just the fact that there was already salt in the room.
Okay. With that, we'll open up to the public portion. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor?
Jesse Davis, P.O. Box 10205, South Bend, Indiana. I read online some of the letters and things that were sent to this lady, and I mean, we're trying to revitalize the city as a whole, supposedly, and we keep talking about inclusion and diversity and how we want to make our neighborhoods better and our city better as a whole. So, you know, the red tape that this poor woman's had to go through, and some of the things that, you know, were brought up in the letters, trying to detour her from, you know, being able to do what she wants, I think is a little bit crazy. We have all kinds of other businesses that come to the council and not only ask for rezoning, but they ask for tax abatements for, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, that we grant on a regular basis. And we've obviously got a lady here who wants to open a small business to help that area of South Bend, and that's one of our main corridors. So any viable business that's open there that might bring some traffic through those areas, I think is great.
My name is Samuel Brown. I live at 222 Nevada Street, the city of South Bend. I have a watchdog group called Citizen United. And when I found out about this, I went to the area plan meeting. I listened to both sides. Then I went and got the ordinance on this. And I see no reason whatsoever not to pass this and let this lady be granted what she's requesting. I researched it. Now, if there's a hidden agenda, this is the time and the place tonight to bring it to the front. If ain't nobody have a hidden agenda, I think the common council should vote and grant this lady permission to do it. Because there's nothing there. I mean, I don't know what we're looking for on that corner. Like Jesse said, we're trying to build up our city, make it nice, and there's nothing she's bringing to the table that will deter that. So unless someone with that hidden agenda can step forth and tell the council why it shouldn't be, please pass it. Thank you.
My name is Pete Taddeo. Office is located at 623 East LaSalle, South Bend. I happen to own the Popeye's Chicken across the street from this, and I've owned it since the year 2000. And we spent a considerable amount of money rehabbing that early on, and now business is doing very well. When I first bought the Popeye's Chicken in 2000, that corridor from Olive to Bendix was a very interesting corridor. There was Mr. Moo's, which is a nice restaurant. There was a family restaurant next to Mr. Moo's. There was a CVS going back to the east at the corner of Olive, and that's now a Family Dollar. And I see this as a good addition, a good mixed-use corridor from Olive to Bendix. Now, in addition, Jan Kimbrough has been handling some of my advertising at Popeye's Chicken off and on for the last 12 to 15 years. I've known her for a long time. She's presently at the corner of College and Linden. And I've been there many times. I never smelled any toxic chemicals when I've been in the office. And she's a clean operator, and she does a good job. And she publishes a couple of magazines. I haven't been in, looked at the magazines for a while, but she's a good operator. So I support it. Questions? Thank you.
Yes, my name is Darnell O'Neill, and I stay at 2730 Lincoln Way West, which is right next door to the property we're speaking on. And I have no problem with her opening up a magazine at that location. And I don't know why. It just seems to me we'd be getting the best of both worlds. It's still gonna look like a house. And that's what's special about Lincoln Way. If you notice, you got houses and businesses all together up and down the street. And I understand the planning commission where they say they want it all to be together, but that's not going to happen on Lincoln Way. There's no way. That's not going to happen. And to me, it would be an uplift to the community. That house has been vacant for 2 years. And if someone's really willing to come and try to put a roof on it and make it look nice, simply the South Bend should be willing to do that. And I hope the council says okay. Thank you.
My name is Larry Bayman, 333 North Main Street, South Bend. Known Jan for probably 10 years. I advertise in her magazine. She'll be good for that neighborhood, and she'll be good for this community, and it'll be attractive business, and especially for our corridor there. People coming into our town, down Lincoln Way, coming from the airport, it's just going to be a plus. I've been to that property several times, and we can make that look very well. So I support this. This is an important thing for her and for that neighborhood.
My name is Ronnie Stewart, and I just wanted to say about Jan. I've been knowing her.
Please state your address, sir.
Hey, Brian.
You state your name and address, please.
Ronnie Stewart, Kentucky Street and Gray Street. What I was talking about last time. Oliver know what I'm talking about. But then there's another issue with Jan. And then I'm saying I've been knowing her for many, many years, and she's been right over there by King Center. And then I'm just wondering why she just get a hard time. And then just because you stay or you got your business in the what you call the hood, that don't mean you got to stay there. And then she stayed there to educate people around her. And so she been there. She could go somewhere else probably, but then every time it seems like, and then you try to move somewhere to advance, teach people like she does, and then say, I'm gonna go over here. And then when they ask about her building, she's probably gonna give it to her nieces, nephews, or somebody, kids or whatever, and then have them educate the people across the street, which is at King Center. But then you can't be stuck right there. And just like they did, make bike lanes down Lincoln Way, and then they can make room for her because she didn't pay. She didn't pay that. And I'm saying, don't overlook that. Don't think she just stuck over at King Center. She's not. She can go worldwide anywhere. With her business mind, she just stayed here because she loves home. She want to talk to people because this is her family. And then that's why she stayed over there. She could have been somewhere else. And I'm like, don't knock her, and then don't act like a bike lane is more important than her advancing. And then what she can say, well, people come there and they can stop and shake hands. And then people, like today's is modern technology, they can stop, they get on them, Facebook and stuff, they can stop and shake hands about something. And then them people from the airport can stop there, and then they might want to put money in the urban, and then you don't have to go right down in there, but you can stop at Jan's and see that, and then the next step is her family coming up and then taking over the spot that she's leaving at.
Jason Benicki, Critchlow, 3822 West 4th Street. I mean, to me, this seems kind of like a no-brainer decision to go forward with this. We're looking to revitalize that corridor, and kind of the first new business we put in there was One Family Dollar right down the street, 7 blocks from another Family Dollar. And it was like, that's not going to change the character of a corridor if we just keep throwing dollar store after dollar store next to check cashing place, next to Rent-A-Center. But adding a printing shop that gives somebody a chance to make a nice middle-class income, to, potentially as it grows, add some more middle-class incomes to a neighborhood that sadly needs middle-class incomes, is something we shouldn't even try to obstruct. And just from a citizen standpoint, anytime you can turn residential into business, we know that raises the property tax value instantly. So that adds to the value for all of us and the benefit for everybody when we can turn that from residential, particularly unoccupied residential, into productive business. So I think this is one of the easier decisions that we'll face in this corridor going forward.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Kerry James Baptiste. I'm the pastor of New Salem Missionary Baptist Church at 141 South Camden. I live at 1029 Whitehall Drive, been there for 40 years. I worked in the city since 1965. I've been pastoring for 3 years. Jan is one of my great members. Jan is not just a member. I don't want to fool anybody. Jan is my family. But my church is concerned about why she's having such a hard time. And it's my job to explain to my people what's going on. And I think I kind of got it figured out because when Palmer's moved into the Lincoln Way area, we met with Palmer's and welcomed him with open arms. We made sure we didn't try to blackball him in the black community. We tried to work with him. But now it has come to light that it seems as though R.L. and Kerry Palmer are trying to keep her from moving next door to them. And she owned the property before they even bought there. But I know they got interest in the property because they need to expand their parking lot. But I hope that you guys won't come and put that same pressure down on our community and on our people that's trying to do good. Jan has been doing this for a number of years, 20 years or better, printing blessed magazines and gospel magazines and doing this kind of stuff, and she do it with the utmost, I don't know what you would call it. She just,
Quality.
I know you're just going to speak for me. He comes to my church to do the same thing. Excuse me. But I just wish that you guys would see the whole picture, that she's a hard-working young lady that is trying to progress. She's trying to get into a better business so she should even do better than where she is now. And I think that she will be a great asset to that area. Thank you for listening to me.
Seeing no one else in favor, is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing no one, the public portion is now closed to the council for recommendation or comments.
Move for a favorable recommendation of the substitute.
No, it's not a substitute. It's amended bill 2016.
I so move that.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Clerk, would you please read 2416?
2416, public hearing on an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 539 Crescent Avenue, Council Manning District Number 4 in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
A motion to accept amended bill 2416 as on file with the city clerk.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Is there a committee report?
Just means zoning annexation met, and we bring it to you with a favorable report.
Yeah.
Is there a petitioner?
Good afternoon, Angela Smith from the Area Planning Commission's office on the 11th floor of this building. Petitioner is seeking to rezone a property at the corner of Hill and Crescent Avenue from the MF1 Urban Corridor Multifamily District and MU Mixed Use District to SF2 Single Family and Two Family District to construct a single-family home on the property. To the north, east, and south are properties zoned SF2 Single-Family and Two Family containing single-family homes, with a small portion of the southern property being MU Mixed Use. To the west and a little bit to the north there is another property zoned MU Mixed Use with Beacon Health, which has a medical office and associated parking, which does not show up in this area. This is an image of the site. It's currently vacant. It tends to slope down as you go along Crescent Avenue to the southwest there. This is a view from Crescent Avenue looking back at the property. Properties being rezoned to single-family district do not require a site plan, so there is no site plan to present to the council. This comes to you from the Area Plan Commission with a favorable recommendation. Rezoning the property to single-family will be consistent with the neighborhood and help support the revitalization of this area. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Actually, we'll hear from the petitioner, and then we'll open up to questions for both the presenter and petitioner. Please state your name and address.
John Pericini. I'm with Coldwell Banker Real Estate here in South Bend, Indiana, 1539 North Ironwood.
I've already passed these out once, but some of you might not have them. So
And if you would please pass them to the clerk.
Extra paperwork, thank you. I'm here representing the seller of the property is Beacon Health Systems, and the buyer of the property is Kevin Fuda, who's here if you have any questions. As you've seen, the neighborhood is really transitioning nice. Actually, I was back through it again last week and seeing some of the newer homes are coming through there. And Kevin, it's a little excess land for Beacon. When they purchased, they have some office buildings down there, so it really buffers really nice because it drops down considerably. Kevin is looking at building a home on there and maybe two. So it just depends. We have some issues with some variances, and there's a vacated alley there with a perpetual easement for utilities. So we're kind of working through some of those things right now and to see how that's going to lay out. So either way, he's going to build one for sure. If he can split the lot, and both will be single family, obviously, and he'll build one for himself and probably sell a lot unless he wants to get out there and start building a second house. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer.
Great. Are there any questions from council for presenter or petitioner? Seeing none, we will open it up to the public. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor? Anyone from the public wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing no one, back to the council.
This is 2416, goes to council.
Second.
Recommendation.
And do we need to say as amended?
Yes.
As amended.
Still second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 2416 will go to the full council favorably. Would City Clerk Fowler please read 2716?
2716, public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance and establishing historic landmark status for the structure and real property known as Kaiser House and located at 803 West Washington in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Is there a committee report?
Yeah, a historic meeting in the zoning and annexation meeting, and we bring this to you with a favorable report.
Presenter, please state your name and address.
Elisa Fiesel, Executive Director, Historic Preservation Commission, offices at 125 South Lafayette Boulevard in the Law Building. And I'm here today because Indiana Landmarks, the owner of the property at 803 West Washington, also known as Kaiser House, has petitioned the Historic Preservation Commission to have the property designated as a historic landmark. Kaiser House is located in the West Washington National Register Historic District and is recognized in the Indiana Historic Sites and Structures Inventory of South Bend with a rating of outstanding. Based on the HPC's local landmarks criteria as adopted by the Common Council, the site at 803 West Washington can be recommended to the Common Council for designation as a historic landmark by the Historic Preservation Commission. The building meets the criteria in at least 3 areas. 1, its embodiment of elements of architectural design, detail, materials, or craftsmanship which represent an architectural characteristic or innovation. 2, its suitability for preservation. And 3, its identification with the life of a person or persons of historical significance. Stay there for just a moment. The building fulfills criteria number 1 as an excellent example of Romanesque revival architecture, one of only a few in St. Joseph County. It was built in 1890 of coarse granite with 2 distinctive towers on the front facade. The house is rated outstanding in the 1907 survey, where it is described as a rare but dramatic example of Queen Anne style in heavy stone. Although the exact architect and builder are unknown, the 1923 reassessment lists this house as Type 1 of the highest grade of construction known in the city of South Bend, built strictly from architectural drawings and by the highest type contractor. The materials used of highest grade, weather resistant, and long lived. The building fulfills criteria number 2 by the integrity of the original construction with only minor alterations. Alterations are limited to the addition of 3 dormers circa 1940, replacement of the original red tile roof with asphalt shingles in the 1980s, and reduction in height of the 2 front chimneys by 14 courses for safety reasons, but have since been restored. The matching porte cochere and rear porch addition and kitchen wing were added to the house sometime after the original house's construction. The building fulfills criteria number 3 by its association with William L. Kaiser, a prominent South Bend business leader who founded the South Bend Real Estate, Insurance, Investment, and Loan Company, Kaiser & Wolverton. and was a primary investor and officer of South Bend Malibu Range Company. In addition, Kaiser served as South Bend City Commissioner and was a director of St. Joseph Loan and Trust. The Historic Preservation Commission has reviewed the petition and consent of the owner and the report prepared by the staff and has heard and discussed the recommendation of the staff for designation of the property as a historic landmark. The commission has conducted public hearing where the owner spoke in favor and none in opposition, and adopted unanimously at a May 16, 2016 meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission, Resolution number 16-01 resolves that the building located at 803 West Washington is hereby recommended to the Common Council of the City of South Bend for the establishment as a historic landmark pursuant to Ordinance 5565-73.
Cool. Okay. And is there a petitioner?
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, thank you for your time tonight. I'm Todd Zeiger, Director of the Northern Regional Office for Indiana Landmarks offices at 402 West Washington Street, South Bend. Just briefly, Indiana Landmarks, we're a 66-year-old, privately funded, not-for-profit advocacy organization. Our mission is to save meaningful places across the state of Indiana. We're headquartered in Indianapolis to accomplish our mission through a series of nearly 6,000 members and 45 staff across a network of 9 offices, all of which we would note are formerly endangered historic properties that we've repurposed for our offices. We really believe strongly that knitting the legacy of our buildings within our community to new uses helps with economic development and neighborhood revitalization. We initiated the proposed landmark designation as a fitting honor to Mr. Kaiser, a leader of this community at this time who really helped to lay the groundwork and the foundation of what South Bend has become today. We're hopeful that the designation, along with our work to repurpose this stately home, will help repurpose it for offices and other private uses and public purposes, will help tell that story for future generations and keep that legacy alive and build on the 40 years worth of work in the West Washington District. On a private note, I would just like to say that we have kind of a kindred spirit with Mr. Kaiser in some respects. He works a lot behind the scenes. He's called maybe what we would call today a venture capitalist. Didn't get a lot of recognition, but really helped build this town to what it is today. It's much like what we do, kind of behind the scenes. You don't know we're out there until all of a sudden we've kind of got something done. And so we're very much looking forward to moving in down there. We ourselves hold historic easements on a variety of very important properties across the state of Indiana, much like a local designation just privately reviewed an easement, historic easement. So you might ask, and I want to just take a minute tonight to explain that. We do hold these easements across the state, but we really felt that it was important for the Historic Preservation Commission of South Bend and St. Joseph County to have this local designation so that we had a public voice in this community asset. And so we really thank you very much for your support this evening, and I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much.
Are there any questions from council for presenter or petitioner? Seeing none, we'll move to the public portion. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor?
I have one question. You know, when you designate a house or a structure like that, is there some history on that house that if I, as an average person that comes there, will get a chance to read what you just read, to know that that's existed? Could you share more about that? So, if the passerby who sees this house, how will they know it's a historical house? What signal? What will make it stand out in terms of what signature information? What information will be there?
The immediate thing that we would do is offer a plaque to the property owner, and we have those available at our office. They're really nice, heavy, sturdy bronze plaques. Come in green or gold. So we would offer that for sale at cost to the property owner, so they could attach that to the house. But
is that for the inside of it, or that's for the
no, it's for the exterior. It's generally next to a doorway. So okay. From the street, it would be kind of hard to see because it's really not that big. But if you're standing up near the porch or on the sidewalk, you could see that there's something there, and it's embossed. So very attractive. Yep.
And building on that, then, a couple of reasons why we'd like to use the first floor. Thank you for your support last month when we were here. Part of the goal on repurposing this home for some public uses is to be able to tell that story and get folks into the interior on the first floor, where on the site on the interior have some information about that history. But then also, as part of our the rezoning, we have approval for some signage on the corner to identify the site, and our plan is to incorporate some sort of interpretive message on that signage to be developed so that somebody walks by, you've seen some of these plaques sometimes, as part of our signage for the site to identify the Kaiser House. We want to put some interpretation on that. It's a fancy word, just tell the story about what the house is, so as they walk down the street, they can look at the sign and say, oh, look, that's Mr. Kaiser's house, he did such and such, so a brief explanation about that public, so as you walk down the street, you can see that. So
when there's a tour, and like when you do a tour,
absolutely,
like you all do all your tours, then somebody being walk by and you can stop there and they can see something like that.
On a smaller version of what's in front of Tippecanoe Place that we worked with the commission to put out years ago, something, there's a panel there like that, something along that line to tell the story, but incorporated as part of our signage. So absolutely.
I appreciate that.
That way, Elisha and I don't have to stand by there every Saturday.
I understand. Want to go by ourselves sometime and read it. Thank you. I'm good.
With that, the council portion is closed, or questions are closed. We'll open it up to those speaking in favor.
I'm Noreen Dean Moran. I live at 716 West Colfax, but I'm speaking on behalf of the Near West Side Neighborhood Organization, of which I'm president. We are totally in favor of this situation. I don't want to get into a negative, but for so many years that property was the biggest drug dealer by the worst landlord in all of South Bend. It meant nothing to us but a big, ugly thing which was dangerous. Even with all the work that's been done to repair it now, there's a beautiful rosy glow coming out of the stonework that's there. The situation pleases us completely. There was a tour of a group of Chicago and other later Midwestern architects that came to town on Saturday, wanted to deal with the Clement Studebaker and the Olivers, and the Kaiser House and St. Paul's Church also became of very much interest to them, and they were very excited by also. So we see it as a very positive thing, and for so long it was a negative, and its heart in the beginning was positive. So its landmark status is certainly well-deserved and appreciated by us.
Jim Bogner, 807 West Washington Street, South Bend, Indiana, 46601. I come before council this evening in support of Bill 2716. This has been a long journey, and I am pleased that we are at this point. At this afternoon's committee meeting, a very detailed explanation of the value of this property and why landmark status should be approved was presented, and it was again heard this evening. I would like to give you a more practical reason. The Kaiser home is a direct reflection of the many important stages of our city's life. Once houses like Kaiser were lined up and down our inner city streets. Today, they are the exception rather than the rule. After World War II, Joseph and Esther Schmidt purchased the parcel from the Kaiser estate and engaged in the first, as we now call it, adaptive reuse of the property, converting the building to apartments for workers employed at Oliver's, Studebakers, and many other locally owned businesses. For over 40 years, they provide positive apartment living, and in fact saved the property from demolition during the Integral construction in the late 1960s. Tonight, with your vote, the circle is complete with landmark status for this property, again, with a positive reuse. As I considered what I wanted to place on the record, I felt strongly that I need to acknowledge all the people I've spoken with over the last decade. First, I considered naming each and every one of them. I felt it was important to acknowledge these individuals, but very quickly this became simply an impossible task. First, due to the sheer number, and second, out of concern I would leave someone out. City and county elected, appointed, employees, volunteers, retired members, there are so many. Within this diverse group, one overriding common theme emerged. They cared. You cared. Every single one of them
cared about this property. I was recently asked by one of you, what have I learned from this experience? Is there something I could pass along? I believe so. Folks, the preservation of history, be it our family, a building, a house, a section of land, is not easy. It is not found in a city or county department, a committee, a state not-for-profit, or the federal government. It comes from inside each of us. Preservation of history must make us think about where we come from and how we can make our future brighter. We also need to separate historical myth from actual reality. Sometimes this is very difficult to do. The preservation of our history is time-consuming and it's expensive, and sometimes not often practical. Government must first believe in the value of the past and be willing to work to streamline a process that balances fiscal responsibility with positive growth. The key word here should be linkage. How do you connect the importance of our history with the direction of our future? Kaiser will be saved. But the real question is, will entities like this council keep the importance of preservation in your mind when future issues come forward? That, council members, would be the real lasting value of this long journey. I would like to thank City Council President Tim Scott, County Council President Raphael Morton for their support and guidance in their district. I also thank this council for the difficult and challenging work you do each and every meeting. Your service does not go unnoticed. Thank you all very much.
You're welcome. That's powerful. I enjoyed that.
Hello, my name is Penny Hughes. I live at 1918 Southern View Drive, South Bend. In the 70s, this house was up for sale for $40,000.
Wow.
Jim and I went through it, and I've been an investor for 42 years and a realtor for 39. My husband and I went through it, gave him a full-price offer. We wanted that house. And it was interesting, at that time, it was 16 apartments in there. I think every one of them had a fireplace. So it was really unique, and I wanted to renovate it, and I'm glad I didn't, because I took on another one, and 14 years later, I'm not done yet. But anyway, I belong to Historic Landmarks and donate to them, and take their magazine. I think you all should get it. If you don't, it's wonderful to see all that they've done in our community and throughout the state and the country. So I just thought I'd shed a light on that. The realtors went through that building recently, and I had a chance to see what they've done. They've opened all those apartments up and beautifully restored all the hardwood floors and new doors, and it made me cry to see what a beautiful job they had done. So it really needs to be saved and remain historic, get this designation. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, back to the council. What's your pleasure?
Move the 2716 of the council favor, please.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? 2716 will go forward favorably. City Clerk Fowler, would you please read 2916?
2916, public hearing on an ordinance to vacate the following described properties. Alley vacation, First North-South Alley from Sample Street to Gargis Street between Franklin Street and Lafayette Boulevard, and the First East-West Alley from Franklin Street to Lafayette Boulevard between Sample Street and Gargis Street, South Bend, Indiana.
Thank you. Is there a committee report?
Yes, there was a lack of quorum, so this comes to the council with no recommendation.
Thank you. Is there a presenter?
Thank you. Mike Danch from Dan Charner Associates, 1643 Commerce Drive in South Bend, representing the city of South Bend. As explained at the committee meeting, what we're asking to do is to vacate the north-south and east-west alley. It's bounded by Sample Street on the north, Franklin on the west, Lafayette on the east, and Garth on the south. This is right adjacent and east of Ignition Park. This will probably be Ignition Park East. This is about 4.13 acres of ground. What we're trying to do is eliminate that public right-of-way for those alleys and create a larger lot for development. And if you've got any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Seeing none, we'll move to the public portion. Anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor? Anyone from the public wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, back to the council.
Move the 2916 bill to council favorably.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Moves forward favorably. Would City Clerk Fowler please read 2316?
2316, public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 17 of the South Bend Municipal Code to include new rules and regulations for assessment of installation charges.
A motion to accept the substitute version of 2316 received today in the city clerk's office.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Is there a presenter? Is there a presenter? Did you already do a committee? Sorry. Is there a committee report?
We had a committee report. We asked for a revised version to be presented to the council. Mr. Horvath, I believe, is here with that tonight, which we just accepted, so that is where we are. Is there any formal recommendation? There was no, I think someone had stepped out, there was no recommendation.
No recommendation.
No recommendation.
Right. Yes.
Present it, please.
Good evening, council. So I have in front of you change to our assessment of installation charges ordinance, chapter 17 of the code, article 10. The purpose of the ordinance is to establish a legal basis to waive the assessments fees, back payments from users prior to September 1 of 2016. So we have in section 1787 added a section that essentially if somebody has either connected to city water or sewer prior to September 1st, 2016 or has a permit to connect, they shall be exempt from the assessment fees. C, however, says, notwithstanding anything contained therein, the city reserves the right to retain any assessments that is collected prior to January 1 of 16, particularly that was put in for any development agreements where we paid developers back so the city wouldn't have to pay those back to the original person who paid the assessment. We will continue to work on this ordinance and possible exemptions to both the compact and assessment fees that we've had quite a bit of dialogue on, and we're going to be putting that together hopefully by the end of July for your consideration. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please get them to me, and otherwise look forward to your favorable passage of this ordinance. Thank you.
Any questions from council on this?
Just, for the clarification, with regards, again, to the compact fees, as this is written, we've corrected the issue which we initially wanted to take care of, which is the waiver of the, what could be post charges after the fact. Is that correct?
On compact fees...
not a compact fee.
Oh, yes. On assessments, yes.
We've corrected the shortfall, the oversight, which is what...
Yes, anything prior to September 1.
And with regard to the compact fees, is it your understanding that there exists a compact fee that has not been charged in existence in the ordinance of today?
Yes, section 1786.
Okay. And that is, and is it your, or has it been your instruction that going forward on January 1st, we will start collecting those if no action is taken, or, in other words, if nothing else happens between now and September, it's the intention to start collecting compact fees? That's right. Is that correct?
Yeah, technically, if the ordinance is in place, probably need to do it before January 1.
I want the understanding to be that we intend to act on this so as to make what corrections we can with regards to how this is administered. And that's your understanding going forward?
Yeah, I mean, if there's no change, then there's compact language in here that we will enforce.
Will. Yeah,
if it's enforceable.
Okay, all right. So, thank you. Yeah. That was my...
Are you at peace with that?
It's my hope that between now and near the end of the year, we will address the issue on compact fees. The motivating factor in my case personally is that we want to make sure that there are essentially no exemptions. That if the small person has to pay, everybody has to pay it. That's going to take some language changes. And that going forward is what I personally am looking for. I suspect there's some similar sentiments on the council. So
Question, Church. Can we not do some kind of a motion that we agree with that contingent of this, so that will not be in place?
The information that you had at the Utilities Committee meeting earlier today addresses the concerns that both you raised.
Yeah. So that would
That should be separate from this bill.
You think it should
You're
be
gonna do
separate?
it? Yeah, otherwise it's just
I think
confusing all
there's
over
been
again.
so much confusion over the months that the administration has worked with and that the council that I would separate the two.
So you're comfortable then? Okay, y'all.
We can only do what we can do.
I know. Okay, we work together. I'm okay.
Seeing no other questions? Seeing no other questions from council, move to the public portion. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor?
Good evening, Bill Chalio, St. Joseph County Economic Development Director. Offices on the 11th floor. I've reviewed the revised ordinance that was just provided to the council. I stand here supportive of this, but optimistic that we can reach a broader conclusion on the compact fees, annexation language, some of these other issues. So we stand here in support of this, but again, look forward to that broader discussion. So,
Okay.
thank you very much.
I understand that.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing no one, back to the council.
Move for favorable recommendation.
Second.
As amended.
Yes.
Substitute.
There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. City Clerk Fowler, would you please read 2616?
2616, a public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 18, Article 1, Section 18-5 of the South Bend Municipal Code to assure sidewalk accessibility for persons with disability near sidewalk cafes.
Is there a committee report?
Yes, but there is no recommendation to the council due to a lack of quorum at the committee meeting.
Okay. And is there a presenter? Take your time.
On the fall.
Eric Horvath, Public Director, 13th floor of this building. I think one of the great things, downtown revitalization occurs. We continue to get more and more businesses coming in for sidewalk cafe permits, which is a great thing. It adds to the vitality of downtown, and we'd love to see that. It also has to be done, though, in a way that we keep accessibility on the sidewalks, and so we wanted to make sure that we amended Chapter 18, Article 1, Section 1815 of the existing ordinance to ensure that we could have accessibility on the sidewalk for persons with disabilities near sidewalk cafes, and that's what this does. We have included language that we maintain a minimum of 60 inches for wheelchair accessibility between a sidewalk cafe and then anything that would be a barrier to somebody getting through, whether it's a grate, landscaping, curbs, bike lane, anything like that. And further, we've asked that in the areas where the public right-of-way accessibility guidelines differ from our ordinance, that those PROAG guidelines shall be followed if they're more restrictive. Those are ADA guidelines that are public guidelines. Well, that's all I have. If you have any questions, if you have any answers.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Seeing none, we'll open up to the public portion. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor?
Noreen Dean Moran, 716 West Colfax. I live on a street which has some of these cafes. I live next to downtown, and once upon a time, I spent a lot of time in a wheelchair from a car accident. I'm very much in favor of this. I'm also in favor of the cafes. I like to eat outside and so forth. But as I look at them on Michigan Street and on Colfax, I'm not sure even a person who wasn't completely stable can get by them in many cases. I don't walk with a ruler, but it may be between the end of the sidewalk, but if there's a pole there, there's no way any wheelchair is going to get through in some cases. So I'm very much in favor of the rules to make this possible. I'm in favor of the cafes, but I think you're going to have to do some careful measurement, because I just looked at I'm not going to single out, certain restaurants at this point, but I was looking at them over this weekend, and I would say in about 70% of the cases, it would not be easy for the person to get by. Someone would have to take them off the curb and up on the curb. So I'm very much in favor of the proposal to do that. Some streets are just too narrow for that, and that's sad, but I think the person with the disability has to have the rights to get by.
Briefly, Todd Zeiger, I live at 61550 US 31 South Bend. Has nothing to do with the story. I have a son who's in a wheelchair. I just want to thank you for considering this, working through these experiences. Sometimes you don't have those eyes open when you're going down the street if you don't have someone with you, and just support what Maureen said. Just thank you to the council and the staff for thinking these things through, because sometimes you don't think about it until you have someone you're helping around, or they're trying to get around on their own. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's so true. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, back to the council. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? 2616 will go forward favorably. City Clerk Fowler, would you please read 3016?
3016. Public hearing on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending sections of Chapter 9, Article 3 of the South Bend Municipal Code to address ambulance and medical service fees.
The Health and Public Safety Committee met this afternoon and sends this to full council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you so much. Is there a presenter?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen of the council, my name is Stephen Cox. I'm the fire chief with the South Bend Fire Department with offices at 1222 South Michigan Street. The bill you have before you comes from a recommendation by the fire chief, myself, which I'm required to report to council annually on June 1st about the EMS services that we provide, and especially associated with EMS user fees. I've made a recommendation in that particular report, which should be in all of your hands. It was presented to the city clerk on May 31st. Within that recommendation, all we have asked for is the fee schedule to be increased by proportionally in accordance with the fee schedule for reimbursement through Medicare, which is what the standard that we've used over the last several years to readjust our fee schedule. Additionally, we've asked for a mechanism to be placed within the code to allow the department to be able to adjust those fees in April when Medicare typically comes out with the adjustments in the fee schedule, in order for us to not lose out on any federal funds, knowing that we do still need to report to council by June 1st, and at that point in time each year annually we could go ahead and provide an update to the council and address any issues that the council may have in regards to the fees.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council? Seeing none, we'll move to the public portion. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor? Anyone from the public wishing to speak in opposition?
I just want to make sure that I'm understanding clearly. So normally they have to come before the council in order to speak to you, let you know what these raises and the bills will be. So if you enact this now, they will be able to, upon the chief's decision or whatever, increase these fees prior to coming to the council.
And so ask what questions you need to ask, and then once the public portion is closed, then...
Will they be able to automatically increase the fees prior to getting council approval? And if that is the case, when they do come to the council later in the year, will the council be able to say, hey, wait a minute, we think these were too high, or, will the council still have some control over that, or are we just handing over, the raises to the fire chief or whoever takes care of that?
Good question.
Seeing no one, the public portion is now closed. There's an opportunity for rebuttal if you would like. 5 minutes.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the council, if you bear with me, I'd like to read the section here within the proposed ordinance. It's further recommended by the Fire Administration that hereafter the South Bend Fire Chief be authorized to adjust these user fees once annually and automatically by the same percentage rate as any adjustments made to the Medicare fee schedule rates, with notice to the city clerk, after which such new rates will take effect. These changes are reasonable, appropriate, and in the best interest of the city of South Bend. Over the course of the last 5 years, we have used that particular fee schedule to proportionally increase the adjustments to the fee schedule. The council has voted unanimously in each of those 5 years. We're not asking for an adjustment or a change to that mechanism whatsoever. In fact, all we're asking is for the council to give us the opportunity to be able to do that in April when the fee schedule changes, in order so that we don't lose any federal funding or federal monies that are on the table for reimbursement for the ambulance services up until a point when it makes sense for us to be able to report to the council.
Thank you. Are there any comments from council?
Just what I wanted to clarify from this case. These are not arbitrarily set by the administration nor by the fire department. These reflect the payments that Medicaid or Medicare says will be the payments that we will allow or reimburse. So it doesn't come as an arbitrary decision. It simply makes our fees the same as what the Medicare reimbursement is. I say Medicare or Medicaid? Medicare, yeah, reimbursement is. So it's constrained by that, and anything other than that would be in violation of what they're proposing.
Okay. Is there a motion from council?
Motion to accept.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? 3016 will go forward favorably. Is there a motion to resolve from this meeting? Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Full council is now back in session. Clerk Fowler, please give a third reading to 2016, please.
I'm sorry. 2016, third reading on an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 2724 Lincoln Way West, Councilmanic District Number 2 in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
A motion to amend this was in the committee.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Motion to pass as amended.
Second. Ms. Fowler.
Councilmember Preston.
Aye.
Councilmember Broden. Aye. Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Vorty.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Tim Scott.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. 2316, please.
2316, third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 17 of the South Bend Municipal Code to include new rules and regulations for assessment of installation charges.
A motion to amend this was in the committee. of the whole.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Motion for passage is amended.
Second. Ms. Fowler.
Councilmember Broden. Aye. Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Vorty.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Councilmember Preston.
Aye.
President Tim Scott.
Aye.
8 ayes.
2416, please.
2416, third reading on an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 539 Crescent Avenue, Councilmanic District Number 4 in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
A motion to amend this was in the committee. of the
So
whole.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion for passage is amended.
Second. Ms. Fowler.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Vorty.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Councilmember Preston.
Aye.
Councilmember Broden. Aye. President Tim Scott.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. 2616, please.
2616, Third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 18, Article 1, Section 18-15 of the South Bend Municipal Code to assure sidewalk accessibility for persons with disabilities near sidewalk cafes.
Move for the passage of Bill 26-16.
Second. Ms. Fowler?
Vice President Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Vorty?
Aye.
Mr. Furley?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Councilmember Preston? Aye. Councilmember Broden? Aye. Dr. Varner?
Aye.
President Scott?
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. 2716, please.
2716, third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance and establishing historic landmark status for the structure and real property known as Kaiser House and located at 803 West Washington in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Motion for passage?
Second. Ms. Fowler?
Mr. Vorty?
Aye.
Mr. Furley?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Councilmember Preston? Aye. Councilmember Broden? Aye. Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Vice President Davis?
Aye.
President Tim Scott?
Aye.
8 ayes.
2916.
2916, third reading on an ordinance to vacate the following described property. Alley vacation, First North South Alley from Sample Street to Gargis Street, between Franklin Street and Lafayette Boulevard, and the First East-West Alley from Franklin Street to Lafayette Boulevard between Sample Street and Gargis,
Motion.
South Bend, Indiana.
Motion for passage?
Second.
Ms. Fowler?
Mr. Furley?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Councilmember Preston?
Aye.
Councilmember Broden? Aye. Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Vice President Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Vorty?
Aye.
President Tim Scott?
Aye.
8 ayes.
3016.
All right.
3016, third reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending sections of Chapter 9, Article 3 of the South Bend Municipal Code to address ambulance and medical service fees.
Move for the passage of 3016?
Second.
Ms. Fowler?
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Councilmember Preston?
Aye.
Councilmember Broden? Aye. Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Vice President Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Vorty?
Aye.
Mr. Furley?
Aye.
President Tim Scott?
Aye.
8 ayes.
Do we need a motion on the resolution?
Yes.
Entertain a motion to continue 1657 to July 25th.
Second. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. First readings, 3216, Ms. Fowler.
3216, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating additional funds for certain departmental and enterprise operations in 2016. $385,775 from EMS Capital Fund, number 287, $150,000 from Solid Waste Fund, number 610, and $60,601 from the 2011 Sewer Bond Fund, number 659.
Move the 3216 be sent to Personnel and Finance, be set for second, third reading and public hearing on 7/11.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. 3316, please.
3316, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, for budget transfers for various departments within the City of South Bend, Indiana, for the year of 2016.
Move the 3316 be sent to Personnel and Finance, be set for second, third reading and public hearing on 7/11.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. 3416.
3416, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating additional funds for certain departmental and city service operations in 2016. $500 from DCI Fund number 212, $850,000 from the Lowit 2016 Special Distribution Fund 257, $114,762 from Parks Non-Reverting Capital Fund number 405, $114,762 from Parks Fund 201, and $63,555 from Major Moves Fund 412.
Move the 3416 be sent to Personnel and Finance, be sent for second, third reading and public hearing on 7/11.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Any unfinished business? Yes, sir.
I guess we should announce to the public that with regards to the resolution on the coal energy, there will be a public hearing. We decided on 7/13 at 5:30.
Yes, right here.
Right here in this room.
Okay, thank you. Any other unfinished business?
Wednesdays?
What's that?
Wednesdays.
Wednesday, the three councils, county, Mishawaka, and city will all meet here at 6 o'clock to discuss food and beverage tax. It is an information-only meeting, which will be presented by IAC, their specialist on food and beverage tax, just to gain information for all three entities moving forward. 6 o'clock here, Wednesday. Any other unfinished business? Any new business?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
on the July the 8th, there will be a celebration to honor Phil St. Clair. It's going to be to be named the Belleville Park. And so I forgot the exact time. Anyone know the exact time? I left it in my office, but I think it's in the evening around 6, to be honest with you. And so, but I'll send out the email to everybody again to remind everybody. So I plan to be there to share thoughts.
Okay. Anything else?
6 o'clock.
Nope. At this time,
6? It's 6. Okay, cool. Thank you.
okay. At this time, we'll move to privilege of the floor.
Thank you.
This is where individuals who wish to address the council must state their name and residential address. Individuals are limited to 3 minutes. The maximum time limit for this portion is 30 minutes. Therefore, could be a minimum of 10 people. Individuals may address issues only which the city has jurisdictions. Individuals shall not be permitted to address any topic that the council has heard previously on the agenda. With that, please go ahead.
Chester Davis, P.O. Box 10205, South Bend, Indiana. I'm coming in tonight to ask about the nuisance ordinance that was passed a couple of years ago, I believe. I've got a couple of friends that live over off of Portage, and I believe it's like Marion Street where Frank's Tavern is. And they've constructed I guess it's a smoking corral outside. It would be on the north side of the building there by the entrance. Saturday evening, while driving by there, number one, you could smell the stench of marijuana terribly near the building and parking lot. A lot of people out in the parking lot lingering around. Right in front of the building, I'm not sure if it's a chair, a picnic table, bench is what it is. But as I'm driving by, there's a man sitting on a seat in a sitting position, a woman on his lap literally having sex right next to the door entrance of that building. Unfortunately, I had to work late today, so I was not able to print the photographs that I snapped.
I really want to see that.
You tonight. And I would have shot you some video of it because there's no doubt, no question what was going on there. That property needs to be looked into. Somebody needs to go keep an eye there in the evenings, especially on the weekends, and watch what's going on in that parking lot and in front of that building. And that property needs to be on this nuisance list if those things in fact are allowed to continue to happen there. But I will bring the photographs. They're not very explicit because it was dark, and I will give them to the clerk's office for record later on this week when I get a chance to come downtown.
Thank you, sir. By the way, I forgot to mention that each person has 3, I did mention 3 minutes, and Kevin Furlick is timing. He will give you an exit warning in about 30 seconds that you have remaining. Go ahead, please state your name and address.
Janice Yorty Suter. I'm one of the pastors of Kern Road Mennonite Church at 18211 Kern Road in South Bend. I want to speak to the bill number 1657 that you will vote on in July on
No, I'm sorry, ma'am. Anything on the agenda you cannot speak of that came before council tonight. If you want to submit anything to the clerk's office in writing, we will take that, though.
Okay. Can you come back?
Should we come back to the next meeting?
Yeah, she can come back for the next meeting. Thank you, sorry. Next, name and address, please.
Samuel Brown, 222 East Novara Street, City, South Bend, representing West of Route 69. I want to say today to the council, Mr. Randy Wilkerson, Code Enforcement Director, I have a lot to say about him as far as doing a good job. We get a lot of complaints about code enforcement doing this, code enforcement doing that. But for over a year, the president of the council, Tim Scott, and I sitting in on a meeting, and we had a guy that owns a jewelry plant. We live in Arizona. It's been a hazard to the city, and the city have fought very hard to try to get this gentleman to comply with what the city was trying to find at a nuisance property. One day, Saturday, I was going down the street. I was on the tour for a matter of fact, I got a call from Dirksen, and he wanted to meet with me. And the problem I was having with him, it took quite a while, but Mr. Wilkerson did a great job as far as getting this guy to fly in the South End and take care of his business. And the people that was hurt by Mr. Dirksen, property manager, we will have to deal with that in a court of law. But I just want to recommend that Mr. Wilkerson is doing a great job, because I'm out there fighting, and I know how long it took me working on this. And I'm going to say to him, keep the good work up, because we need people like him in city government.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, name and address, please.
My name is Kathleen Gaines, and I live at 59030 Ireland Trail. I'm here in opposition of the proposed site for the fire station for Potawatomi Park in the River Park area. I sit on a sensory committee in order to form a sensory garden on behalf of my son, DJ Milliken. The plans are for it to sit behind the conservatories, sandwiched between the Kids Kingdom and encircling an existing pergola. Approved by the park board, this group is working to earn funds to build this garden. To date, we have $13,500. And this is for everybody in our community to come and enjoy free. It will be a calming, peaceful, and relaxing atmosphere for children and adults alike with physical and mental disabilities. Individuals with sensory processing disorders who would benefit from this garden would most likely not be able to enjoy or benefit from this garden. The screeching sounds of alarms would overstimulate and be counterproductive. The special place will serve the greater good of the public. However, its sole purpose will be diminished if a fire station is built just a few hundred feet away. The very essence of what a park is will be diminished itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, name and address, please.
My name is Mike Macholsky. I live at 1117 South 31st Street. I hope that you are not inundated with emails to the point where you can't get to them all. But I know that on June 13th, Krista Bailey sent you all an email addressing some of the information in the plan. She referred to the City of South Bend 5-year park master plan. She made some extremely valid points about what that plan is all about, and also referenced some nationally recognized agencies and corporations and organizations that support green space and sustainability and all kinds of things that are good for the environment. I also would like to reference some of the information in the City of South Bend 5-year park master plan that I have been reading as well, and I'm hopeful that perhaps you will, as an agency or an organization, because I think it's in your grasp to make some decisions. It starts out by who we are. Our mission statement, creating community, is more than just an action plan for South Bend Parks and Recreation Department. It's a plan to reposition the diverse profession of parks and recreation for the future. We are the parks and recreation profession, and they include commercial and for-profit organizations. They state many organizations like the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club. A lot of folks have come together as organizations to support our parks here in South Bend. Park professionals who preserve the natural environment, enhance safety and protect our valuable resource investment, special districts and local recreation agencies that provide parks and recreation opportunities to local residents, students who are the professionals of the future, citizens, volunteers who provide many direct services, and others, all are a part of the vision of the future. As a profession, we are known for our parks and open space. They create a green infrastructure that is essential to our area's economy from the regional attractions to a pocket park in the midst of our neighborhood. We provide relief from urban development,
So you have 30 seconds.
preservation, and environment. The South Bend Parks and Recreation 5-year plan is intended to help meet needs of our current and future residents. The citizen-driven plan, and I can provide, and you have been provided with a number of petitions that say that citizens have petitioned to keep the fire department out of the park. We are supporting our parks. Establishes a direction to guide city staff, advisory committees, and elected officials in their efforts. So I ask that you please protect our parks.
Thank you. Next, name and address, please.
Kendra Fox, 1418 Wilburn Boulevard, Mishawaka, Indiana. I would like to take this opportunity to ask you guys to please don't put the fire station in the park. Would like to ask that we can keep the park the way it is now. The sirens bothers the kids' ears that are autistic and have cerebral palsy. It bothers the animals that walk in the park. I don't like the loud siren noise, and my friends have sensitive ears to the loud sirens. And thank you very much for letting me talk to you guys, and sincerely, Kendra M. Fox.
Thank you. Next.
Jason Benicki, Critchlow, 3822 West 4th Street. First, I want to say I love that new app that the Innovation Officer developed. I think we need to find a way to definitely integrate that into uses for overgrown lots and properties in terms of both grass and, as you posted on your page, you know, those urban forests that make it very difficult for kids to get to school, drivers to see around. I think that offers us just kind of a limitless potential to gather that metadata to help see where we need to go with things. And then second, I do want to speak about the fire station out at the park. I sat here earlier this year saying that we needed to preserve our park space in El Bell Golf Course. I feel the same about the park out there at Potawatomi. There will be people who will say, well, I'm not from River Park, so what's my business? I'm a citizen of South Bend. Every park should be my business, and it should be everybody's. We need to stop, as a city, viewing our green space and our parks as a way to save money or a way to make money. For the shining example of that, you need to look up the road just to Chicago and see how they treat Grant and Millennium Park. That's some of the most valuable real estate in the United States, and they've decided that it's well worth preserving as a park because it's far greater as a public asset than as a dollar-making opportunity or a dollar-saving opportunity. So there are plenty of places in River Park where we can acquire the land at a reasonable cost to build a fire station. Let's not rush to lose what little green space we have in the city, as we always seem to do, and instead work to preserve Potawatomi Park as it is for future generations.
Thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. So moved. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Come on, yeah. It wasn't too bad.
Turned out okay.